What if I told you that the life you're living right now can become completely unrecognizable in just 30 days? Sounds impossible, right? Because most people believe real change takes years. They believe becoming disciplined is painful, difficult, almost impossible. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Your life isn't being destroyed by lack of talent. It isn't being destroyed by lack of intelligence. It isn't being destroyed by bad luck. It's being destroyed by small habits you repeat every single day without even noticing. Right now, while you're wasting a few minutes here, a few minutes there, someone else is quietly building a completely different future. And here's the scary part. 30 days from now, you'll either become stronger, more confident, more focused, or you'll still be exactly where you are today, with the same excuses, the same problems, and the same regrets. The Stoics understood something centuries ago that most people still fail to understand today. Discipline doesn't change your life slowly. It changes your identity. And once you discover what can happen when you force yourself to stay disciplined for only 30 days, you'll never want to go back again. If you're ready to become the person people won't recognize anymore, hit like and subscribe, and let's begin. Most people think discipline means waking up at 5 a.m., taking cold showers, working all day, suffering every single second. That's what scares people. That's why people avoid it. Because in their minds, discipline feels like prison. But that's the biggest lie ever told. Discipline isn't punishment. Discipline is freedom. Think about that for a second. Freedom. Because right now, if you can't control yourself, then something else is controlling you. Maybe your phone controls you. Maybe laziness controls you. Maybe social media controls you. Maybe your emotions control you. Maybe distractions control you. But something is controlling you. Because if you were truly in control, you would have already started becoming the person you keep dreaming about. And that's where reality becomes uncomfortable. Because most people don't actually have a motivation problem. They have a discipline problem. They wait to feel like working. They wait to feel like exercising. They wait to feel like changing their life. And sometimes that feeling never comes. Days pass. Weeks pass. Months pass. Years pass. And nothing changes. Now imagine two people standing side by side. Same age. Same opportunities. Same 24 hours in a day. The first person wakes up and says, "I don't feel like doing anything today." So they sleep longer, scroll longer, procrastinate longer, waste more time. The second person wakes up and says, "I don't feel like doing it either, but I'm doing it anyway." Small difference. Tiny difference. But now repeat that for 30 days. 30 days only. Not 30 years. Not 10 years. Just 30 days. And suddenly something starts happening. One person starts becoming stronger. The other person stays exactly where they were. Because discipline is like interest in a bank account. Small actions don't look powerful in one day. But they become powerful over time. Reading 10 pages today doesn't look life-changing. Working out today doesn't look life-changing. Waking up earlier today doesn't look life-changing. But repeat those actions every day for 30 days. And suddenly you don't feel the same anymore. You think differently. You move differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself differently. Because discipline slowly changes your identity. And here's something scary. Your current habits are also changing your identity right now. Every habit is casting a vote. Every action is casting a vote. Every choice is casting a vote. If you waste time today, that's a vote. If you avoid hard work today, that's a vote. If you keep procrastinating today, that's a vote. You're voting for the person you're becoming every single day without realizing it. That's why people suddenly wake up one day and say, I hate my life. But life didn't suddenly become bad. Tiny decisions slowly created that reality. And the Stoics understood this perfectly. Because they believed your future isn't created by huge moments. It's created by repeated actions. Over and over and over again. Because nobody suddenly becomes weak. Nobody suddenly becomes successful. Nobody suddenly becomes disciplined. It happens quietly. While nobody notices. While nobody is watching. While nobody cares. And that's exactly why 30 days can completely change someone. Because for 30 days, you're no longer following feelings. You're following decisions. And decisions change lives. And here's where things start becoming uncomfortable. Because the first few days are going to feel easy. Very easy. You'll wake up excited. You'll feel motivated. You'll tell yourself, this time I'm changing my life. You'll start imagining the future version of yourself. Stronger. More focused. More successful. More confident. Everything feels perfect. But then something happens. Around day 3, day 4, maybe day 5. Reality shows up. Suddenly your bed feels more comfortable. Suddenly your phone becomes more interesting. Suddenly your excuses become louder. Suddenly your mind starts negotiating with you. Skip today. One day won't matter. Start tomorrow. You deserve a break. And that's where most people lose. Not because they're weak. Not because they're stupid. But because they don't understand what is happening. They think something is wrong. They think discipline isn't working. They think they're failing. But no. That's actually the moment where the real transformation begins. Because your old self is fighting for survival. Think about that. Your old habits don't want to die quietly. Your old mindset doesn't want to disappear quietly. Your old version of yourself is going to fight back. Hard. Because your brain loves comfort. It loves safety. It loves routine. Even if that routine is destroying your future. Your brain doesn't care. Your brain only cares about familiarity. That's why people stay in toxic relationships. That's why people stay lazy. That's why people stay average. Because pain that feels familiar often feels safer than growth that feels uncomfortable. And that's dangerous. Imagine a prisoner sitting in a prison cell for 20 years. One day somebody opens the door and says, "You're free now." Sounds amazing, right? But here's the scary part. Some prisoners become afraid of freedom. Because the prison became familiar. The prison became comfortable. And people do the same thing with their lives. They become comfortable with excuses. Comfortable with procrastination. Comfortable with average lives. Comfortable with weakness. Comfortable with wasting time. Comfortable with being the same person. And that's why discipline feels painful in the beginning. Because you're breaking chains you didn't even realize were around you. You're breaking patterns that controlled you for years. You're breaking habits that quietly owned your life. Of course it feels uncomfortable. Of course it feels difficult. It's supposed to. But here's what most people never experience. If you survive those difficult days, something strange starts happening. Around day 10. Around day 15. Around day 20. You begin feeling different. You wake up differently. You think differently. You start noticing small changes. Your mind feels clearer. Your energy feels stronger. Your confidence starts increasing. You start keeping promises to yourself. And every promise you keep becomes evidence. Evidence that you're changing. Evidence that you're stronger than you thought. Evidence that maybe, just maybe, you're becoming someone new. And then one morning you look at yourself and realize something shocking. The things that once felt difficult, don't feel difficult anymore. Waking up early feels normal. Working feels normal. Exercising feels normal. Learning feels normal. Staying focused feels normal. Why? Because discipline stopped becoming something you do, and started becoming who you are. And that's the moment everything changes. Because now discipline is no longer forcing you. You're no longer dragging yourself. You're no longer fighting yourself every morning. Because something powerful has happened inside you. Your identity has started changing. And identity is everything. Because people don't rise to their goals. They fall to their identity. Read that again in your mind. People don't rise to their goals. They fall to their identity. A lazy person can create huge goals. A distracted person can create huge goals. A weak person can create huge goals. But if their identity stays the same, their life stays the same. That's why most people fail every January. They create goals. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to become rich. I'm going to work out. I'm going to stay focused. But after a few days they disappear. Why? Because they tried changing results without changing identity. They said, I want success. But never became a successful person. They said, I want discipline. But never became disciplined. Now think about this. Imagine somebody smoking every day for years. One day somebody offers them a cigarette. The first person says, no thanks. I'm trying to quit. The second person says, no thanks. I don't smoke. Small difference. Tiny difference. But powerful. The first person still sees themselves as a smoker fighting temptation. The second person already changed identity. One is trying to change behavior. The other already became someone new. That's exactly what happens after real discipline. Around day 20, day 25, day 30. You stop saying, I'm trying to become disciplined. Now your mind says, I am disciplined. You stop saying, I'm trying to become stronger. Now your mind says, I am stronger. You stop saying, I'm trying to improve. Now your mind says, improvement is who I am. And suddenly people around you start noticing things. Friends notice things. Family notices things. Even strangers notice things. They don't understand why you feel different. They don't understand why your energy feels different. They don't understand why your presence feels different. But they notice something changed. Because discipline changes things people can see. Your posture changes. Your confidence changes. Your eyes change. Your voice changes. Your mindset changes. Everything starts changing. And here's the crazy part. You haven't even become successful yet. You haven't even reached the destination yet. But you already feel different. Why? Because success was never the biggest reward. The biggest reward was becoming someone you respect. Because think about it. Money can disappear. Attention can disappear. Fame can disappear. Everything can disappear. But the person you become stays with you forever. Forever. And that's what the Stoics understood better than almost anybody. They never obsessed over results. They obsessed over character. Because they knew if your character becomes powerful, your life eventually follows. Always. So imagine yourself 30 days from now. Two versions standing in front of you. One version keeps doing what they're doing today. Same habits. Same excuses. Same distractions. Same regrets. Same life. The other version suffers for 30 days. Stays focused for 30 days. Stays disciplined for 30 days. Keeps showing up for 30 days. Which person becomes stronger? Which person becomes more confident? Which person becomes dangerous? The answer is obvious. And now the real question appears. 30 days from now. Which version of you is waiting? And now you finally understand the truth. 30 days was never the real secret. The real secret was who you became during those 30 days. Because people think discipline changes outcomes. But discipline changes people. And people create outcomes. That's why two people can start the same challenge and end in completely different places. One person finishes 30 days and says, "Thank God it's over." The other person finishes 30 days and says, "I don't want to go back." Huge difference. Massive difference. Because one person was counting pain. The other person was watching transformation. Now let's make something completely clear. Because this is where people become confused. Discipline doesn't mean becoming perfect. It doesn't mean never failing. It doesn't mean never making mistakes. Because you will fail sometimes. You will miss days sometimes. You will feel weak sometimes. You will feel tired sometimes. There will be mornings where you don't want to get up. There will be days where your mind screams, "Stop." There will be moments where you want to quit. That's normal. Completely normal. Because real discipline isn't about never falling down. Real discipline is getting up faster every time you fall. That's it. That's the whole game. Because average people fail one day and say, "I ruined everything." Then they quit. But disciplined people think differently. They fail one day and say, "Fine, back to work." One mistake doesn't become 1 week. 1 week doesn't become 1 month. 1 month doesn't become 1 year. And understand this deeply. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to magically change your life. Nobody is coming to hand you confidence. Nobody is coming to hand you success. Nobody is coming to hand you discipline. People may motivate you. People may inspire you. People may support you. But at the end of the day, when you're alone, when nobody is watching, when nobody cares, when your bed feels comfortable, when your phone feels addictive, when excuses become louder than goals, that's where your life gets decided. That's where futures get built. That's where winners get created. That's where weak people stay weak. That's where strong people become stronger. Because success isn't built in public. It's built in private. And now the solution becomes crystal clear. Start small. Don't try changing your entire life in one day. That's exactly why people fail. Don't suddenly say, "I'm waking up at 4 a.m., exercising 2 hours, reading 50 pages, working all day." No. Start small. Ridiculously small. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Read 10 pages. Exercise 20 minutes. Stay away from distractions for 1 hour. Keep one promise to yourself every day. Just one. Then repeat. Again. 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 Because small actions repeated every day become powerful. Very powerful. Powerful enough to change your body. Powerful enough to change your mind. Powerful enough to change your confidence. Powerful enough to change your future. And now imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror 30 days later. Same face. Same body. But something feels different. Your eyes look different. Your posture feels different. Your energy feels different. Your confidence feels different. Because deep inside you know something nobody can take away anymore. You kept promises to yourself. You did hard things when you didn't feel like doing them. You won battles nobody saw. You became stronger when nobody was clapping. You became better when nobody cared. And suddenly you realize something. The biggest transformation was never money. Never fame. Never attention. Never success. It was self-respect. Because once you respect yourself, everything starts changing. Your standards change. Your habits change. Your relationships change. Your mindset changes. Your life changes. And one day people start looking at you and asking, what happened to you? But they never saw the mornings. They never saw the struggle. They never saw the sacrifices. They never saw the discipline. They only saw the result. Because that's how life works. People see the victory. But they never see the war. So remember this. 30 days from now is coming no matter what. The question isn't whether 30 days will pass. The question is, when those 30 days finally arrive, will you meet the same person? Or someone completely unrecognizable? If you're still watching this, then this wasn't just a video for you, this was a wake-up call. Right now I want you to comment, 30 days starts today, and make a promise to yourself, not to me, to yourself. Because your future is watching you right now. And if you want more powerful Stoic wisdom that pushes you to become stronger, disciplined, and impossible to ignore, hit like and subscribe. Join this journey. Because 1 year from now, you can either stay the same, or become someone people won't even recognize anymore.